Okay. Now, before we begin the session, I would like to talk to you about the if condition. Now, you all may have heard many times that you all use the if condition in Excel. Now, what is the if condition? If is basically a Boolean function and it returns a value true or false depending if your condition is fulfilled or it is not fulfilled. So that means if your condition is fulfilled, then your if returns the true value. But in scenarios where your condition is not fulfilled, there it returns the false value. Now, there will be only two conditions. Either your criteria or your condition is fulfilled or it is not fulfilled. So, for example, in this column, if I am looking, please be on mute, everyone. If I am looking for instances where the mode is physical, if I am looking where it is physical. Now, here there are two possibilities. Either it is physical, so that means my condition is fulfilled, else it is fund bazaar or online sales. That means that my condition is not. So whenever there is a condition, there are two. Either the condition is fulfilled or the condition is not fulfilled. If the condition is fulfilled, then true value will appear. Else, false value will appear. If the condition is not fulfilled, then the false value will appear. So whenever there is a criteria or a condition, there are only two possibilities. Either condition is fulfilled or not fulfilled. If the condition is fulfilled, true value will appear, and in all other scenarios, false value. So this is the basis of the if condition. Let us begin by writing the if condition, and we are going to say if it is physical, okay, then give them bonus, otherwise nil or none. Okay, so if it is bonus, if it is physical, we are giving them a bonus, otherwise nil. So begin with an equal to sign and write if and open bracket. Select the first cell just below the label. Now, why do I advise you to select the first cell below the label? That is because by selecting the first cell just below the label, you are in a position to drag your formula down. So in those scenarios, when you drag your formula down, you can copy the formula across the entire column. So if I write it in the cell just below the label, if I refer here, can I drag it down? No, I will not get correct answers. But if I select this and I write it in proper order, only by writing it for the first cell, I can come to the corner of the cell and drag my formula down. Is equal to if, select the first cell, that is E2, is equal to, and I'll write physical. See the spelling. Now, since physical or fund bazaar or online or SIP, they are text is always written in double inverted commas. Text in Excel is always written in double inverted commas. So open double inverted commas, write the text, close double inverted. Now, as I'm writing, you will see that the logical test is highlighted. Comma as a separator, and now it will ask you value if true. That means if my criteria or my condition is fulfilled, then the true value will appear. What is the true value? Bonus. Again, bonus is text, so open double inverted quotes. Don't use single twice, huh? You have to use the double inverted quotes. Some people use the single one 2 times and think it's double. No, you have to use the double inverted quotes. True value is bonus, close inverted commas, comma. And what is the value if false? Nil. Close bracket, and this is done. Press enter, Come to the corner, double click, and you have completed the column. Double click, you have completed the column. Now, the advantage of writing it just below the label is, then even if there are 9,000 entries, you don't have to punch in the formula repeatedly for them. You simply have to go to the corner of the cell and drag it down. Okay? So, every time it is checking whether the condition is fulfilled or it is not fulfilled. If it is fulfilled, it will show you true value. If it is not fulfilled, it will show you the false value. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to the chat box. I'm going to put the formula here. And I'm going to repeat the formula one more time for your reference. So every function, every formula always begins with equal to sign. Write the condition if, open bracket. Select the first cell just below the label is equal to, write physical, close inverted commas. So this is my criteria or my condition. Comma as a separator, value if true. So what is the true value? Bonus. Again, bonus is a text. So open inverted commas, write bonus, close inverted commas, comma, value if false. So open inverted commas, none, close inverted commas, close. So there are three parts to this formula. What is your criteria or your condition? If the condition is fulfilled, then true value. And if the condition is not fulfilled, then false value. Come to the corner, double. Please try, everyone. Try this, everyone. Let me know if it's done, everyone. Have you all completed? Okay. Let me know in the chat box. Then we'll consider another example where we will look for net asset value more than 1,000. I will look for net asset value more than 1,000. Super. So here we are looking for something in a numeric value column. Here we are looking for something in the numeric value column. So is equal to, if, open bracket, select the NAV, okay, greater than 1,000. So we are looking for instances where the net asset value is greater than 1000, comma, value if true. So if this particular thing is true, okay, if this particular thing is true, we are going to say travel allowance. So TE. As of now, I'm only giving you text. From next example, I'll give you mathematical numbers. Comma, if it is false, then give the net asset value as it is. So, if the net asset value is greater than 1000, then travel allowance. Otherwise, if it is less than 1000, then you're giving the net asset value as it is in this particular G column. Okay, press enter, come to the corner of the cell, double. Now, wherever the net asset value is less than 1000, it is giving you the net asset value as it is in this particular G column. Let me copy this in the chat for you all to try it out, everyone. Good work. Please try, everyone. Okay. Now let us do one where we will say if the net asset value is less than 1000, we are going to give them 7.5% as bonus of the net asset value. So I'll repeat my question. If the net asset value is less than 1000, we are going to add 7.5% of the net asset value to those values. This one will be a little different. Begin with an equal to sign, write if, open that. Select the logical test, and here I'm going to say if the net asset value is greater than 1000, sorry, less than 1000, then what should be the true value? Net asset value into 7.5%. So you're giving a 7.5% of the net asset value, but the net asset value will be as it is. So plus net asset value. So you're taking the net asset value and adding a 7.5% as a bonus to it. Otherwise, I want to give a blank cell. Now, do you think the cell will actually be blank? No. The cell will only look blank for viewing purposes. I repeat, the cell will only look blank from the purpose of seeing it or viewing it. But when you see the cell by clicking on it within the formulae bar, you will see a formulae which is telling it to be blank. You will see a formulae which is telling it to be blank. So here the cell for viewing purposes will look blank to you. But if you see it in the formulae bar, you will see a formulae which is giving it instructions to look blank because it does not fulfill the condition, and hence as per the rule of the false value, it is showing you a blank cell. Come to the corner, double click, and here wherever it fulfills the condition, it will show you a value, and wherever the condition is not met, you will see an empty cell, because here we have specifically stated that a blank cell will be shown if the value is not fulfilled. So for false value, it's always a blank cell. Open quotes, space bar, close quotes will give you a blank cell. So anytime you want a blank cell, it's open quotes, space bar and close quotes. Please try everyone. In case I need only 2 digits after that, yes, absolutely, it's possible. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to select this column and from here I can select this column and I can decrease the decimal. Now, since this is a formulae, what is happening is, it is not rounding it off, but what I can do is in the net asset value column, I can come here and I can reduce the decimal here. So if the decimal here gets reduced, automatically if you're going to apply it here, eventually it will get reduced here. But otherwise, the method is you'll have to come here and you'll have to use the function wrapping it around this if in order to drop the decimal. Okay, so you can use the trunc function, and there's one more function which you can use in order to drop the decimal. Please try. Let us now take one more example. Let us now take one more example over here. And now I'm going to look for the number of units, okay, which are negative in nature. So I'm going to say if the number of units are negative in nature, I would like to see them here. But if they are positive, I don't want to see anything. I just want to see an empty cell. So this one is for number of units. So here I'm going to say is equal to if, open bracket, select the number of units and I'll say less than 0. When I talk about something which is less than 0, okay, when I talk about something which is less than 0, I am indicating that I'm looking for values which are negative in nature. Comma, for true value, if this value is true, I want the cell as it is, C2. Comma, if it is false, that means if it is not less than 0. If it is not less than 0, that means it is more than 0, blank cell. So here you are seeing a blank cell because it is more than 0. But when I come to the corner and drag it, wherever it is negative in nature, you'll see all the negative values in this particular column. So here I was looking for values which are negative in nature. Please try. We'll wait for 1 more minute for everyone to finish. And then we'll do one on tax deduction. Would you like to do the tax deduction on your own? I'll write the question for you. So suppose, okay, the question here is, suppose the net asset value is more than 2000, then deduct 4.9% from the value. Deduct 4.9% from the value. From the value of net asset value. Okay, 4.9%. If it is more than 2000. So this is my question. Please try, everyone. I'm putting the question in chat box also. Copy paste your formula in chat box. Correct. See this one, Ganesh sir, the D2 will be in front because you're going to minus from it, no? You always write the larger number in front. So it will always be a D2 or a D3 minus D3 into this. Otherwise, it's fine. So let me show it to all of you all before we go ahead. Begin with an equal to sign, write the if condition. Select the net asset value and say greater than 2,000. Comma, if this is true, then you take the net asset value and minus 4.9% of, that is multiplied by net asset value, comma, open quotes, space bar, close quotes for blank cell. And this is the answer. Good work, everyone. Let us proceed. If the others need help with this function, I've written it. I'm pasting it in chat box. clearing these two columns. And now I need to talk about two very, very important concepts with you. One is called range and the other one is called criteria. Before we begin with countif, sumif and averageif function, it is important for us to understand two important factors. One is range and the other one is criteria. One is range, the other one is criteria. Range stands for where are you searching? So where is the data? Where are you searching? So range is where are you looking within the data set, where are you searching? When it comes to criteria, criteria stands for what are you searching for? So criteria stands for what are you searching? These are two important factors to be considered before we do the countif, the sumif and the averageif functions. Range stands for where are we searching? Criteria stands for what are we searching? So if I say count if it is funds bazaar, where will I search for this? Since I want to count it, I will search in the E column. That is my online column. And what am I searching for? I'm searching for funds bazaar. So here you understand the importance of range and criteria. Let me come here in this blank cell called L2 and try and show you the formula in detail. Is equal to count if open. Now can you see there are two parts to this? One stands for range, the other stands for criteria. Range stands for where are you searching? Range stands for where are you searching? So where are you searching? I'm searching in the online column. Correct? Criteria stands for what are you searching? What am I searching? Funds bazaar. So let us do this formula together. Is equal to count if, select the column, that is where am I searching? That is my range, comma, criteria stands for what am I searching? So I'm searching for funds bazaar. Close bracket, enter, and they will tell you funds bazaar has 23501 occurrences, or that is the head count of funds bazaar. Now, if you see for funds bazaar, I did not write it in the formula. Instead of J2, I could also write funds bazaar as a text in this particular formula. If I had to write J2, instead of J2, if I had to write funds bazaar, I would have to do an open inverted commas, write funds bazaar and close inverted commas, because funds bazaar would be a text. But I have referred to funds bazaar. Why? Because if I would like to change funds bazaar to physical, all I have to do is replace the value in my reference cell. As soon as I replace the value in my reference cell, you will see that wherever I have referred to, in order to copy or create a formula, you'll see the new updated values for the same. Similarly, if I make this online sales, there are 0 online sales. If I make this online, it will show you 1. If I make this funds bazaar, it will make it 2350. So now I'm going to copy this formula down and I'm going to paste. Countif function or formula will count only if a particular criteria or a condition is met. If that criteria or condition is met, you get the answer, and if the condition is not met, it gives you whatever is left behind. So if there is no online, or if there is no online sales, it will give you 0. So countif will only count if the condition is fulfilled. Okay, countif is a combination of the if condition and the count function. If because it looks for a criteria or a condition, and count because it gives you the head count or the numeric values of the items in the list. Please try, everyone. Good work, everyone. Let us take one more example. Okay. And this time we are going to do it for SIP. Now, if you look at SIP, which column does SIP belong to? SIP falls in column A, which is the transaction type column. SIP falls in column A, which is the transaction type column. So is equal to count if, open bracket, range stands for where are you searching? I'm searching in column A, comma as a separator between different parts of the function. Criteria is my condition, that is what am I looking for. I'm looking for instances where the transaction type is an SIP. So click on the reference cell which has the text SIP in it, close bracket, enter, and SIP occurs 11248 times. Same concept for retrieval can be tried on the same column, which is the transaction type column. Please try, everyone. Please try for retrieval, then we'll try for net asset value column. Okay. I presume you'll have tried the retrieval one. Let us work on net asset value. In case of net asset value, we are going to look for net asset value, which is more than 1500. So what column are we looking? We are looking in D column, which has the net asset value. And we are going to say if, count if the net asset value is more than 1500. So when are we going to count? We are going to count if the net asset value exceeds 1500. So is equal to count if, open the bracket. Range stands for where are we searching. So we are searching in this column, comma. What are we searching, or what is the criteria we are searching? This is the criteria. Close bracket, hit enter, and here 1026 times, 126 times, the net asset value exceeds 1500. So if you want to do a count if on numeric values, you will have to write it like this for greater than, and in this manner for less than. And is equal to will be written as like this. Okay, so if it is equal to, you'll have to give a reference and just write 100. Please try this for greater than 1500, and on the same concept, you can try it for less than 100. Good work, everyone. Complete NAV less than 100 also before we go to the sum if function. Okay. Now in sum if function, okay, you have range which stands for where are you searching. You have criteria which stands for what are you searching. Here you have an additional field which is called as sum range, which stands for which is the range you want to add. Sum range stands for which is the range that you want to add. So again in sum if, you will look for your range, that is where are you searching for the data. Your criteria, that is which condition are you searching on the basis of. And then you'll have to give an additional reference column. That means this is the column which I would like to sum. So for example, if I'm looking for funds bazaar and I want to sum if the funds bazaar, I can't sum funds bazaar. So I will look in this column for funds bazaar. But what will I sum? I will sum the number of units of funds bazaar. I repeat, I will sum the number of units of funds bazaar. So let us do it together once. It just zoomed a little too much. So this is my cell where I'm going to do a sum if. So begin with an equal to sign, write the function sum if and open the bracket. Range stands for where are you searching. So I'm going to search in this column for funds bazaar, comma. Criteria stands for what are you searching for. Criteria stands for what are you searching for. I'm searching for funds bazaar, comma, sum range. Sum range stands for which is the range that you would like to sum. I repeat, which is the range that you would like to sum. So for sum range, I'm going to take the number of units. Close bracket, hit enter, and this is the answer. So what is this? This is the sum of the units of funds bazaar. Because there's no point adding funds bazaar. You won't get any analysis. If you're adding funds bazaar, it's like doing a count if. But in case of a sum if, you have an additional column which you can consider, which you would like to add if your condition is met or if your criteria which you're searching for is fulfilled. Please try, everyone. I'm copy pasting this in chat box for y'all. Let me know when you'll complete. We'll do another example with SIP and retrieval. But this time we will be doing a sum of the net asset value column. But this time we will be doing a sum of the net asset value column. Let us go ahead and let us take an example of the SIP. In case of the SIP now, I am going to do a sum of the net asset value. So is equal to sum if, open bracket. Range stands for where are you searching. So the SIP belongs to the column in transaction type, which is column A. So I'll select column A, comma. I can also refer to SIP from the list. I repeat, from this column, I can also refer to SIP. But if I am referring to an SIP like this, I will need to lock this cell with $sign because I do not want the reference to change. So I can also refer to SIP written inside the cell. But there, I will not be able to change SIP. So for example, if I give a reference to SIP from here, I can change it to switch in, switch out. I can change it to redemption. I can change it to ESIP. That is the advantage of giving an external reference. But what I'm trying to say here is you can refer to items in the same column, but in a scenario where you are referring to items from the same column, you will need to lock the cells there. Comma, sum range stands for the range that you would like to sum. So that is the net asset value. Only in the conditions where it is SIP, it will sum the net asset value only in those cases. Enter, and this is the answer. So what am I doing? I am looking for SIP in transaction type column. And if it is SIP, I am taking the net asset values and adding them. Please try this one and do the same for retrieval. Please try this one and do the same for retrieval. Finish for retrieval as well, please. Now let us have a close look at the sum if function. Now if you see the function, it has range, that is what are you searching for. It has criteria, which is range, where are you searching. Criteria stands for what are you searching for. And then you have sum range, which is the column which you would like to add. Now if you look very closely, the value of the sum range is in square bracket. Now in Excel, whenever in any function or formula, you get elements in square bracket, that means they are optional entities. They are optional values. There could be certain scenarios where you can do away with them. So you can manage without these values. Here is an example of the sum range which will not be required. Now if I say sum if net asset value more than 1500. Which column will I be searching in? Since I am referring to net asset value, I will be searching in the net asset value column. My criteria greater than 1500. Now in your range, you have already taken the range which is a number value or a numeric value which can be summed. I repeat, in the range, I've already taken a column which is the net asset value column which can be added, which can be summed. And that is why in this scenario, especially when you're dealing with numeric values, there could be instances where you may not require the sum range and you can do away with the sum range and still manage. So here we'll begin with an equal to sign. Sum if. Range stands for where are you searching. So I'm searching in the net asset value column, comma. Criteria stands for what am I searching for. I'm searching for instances where the net asset value is more than 1500. Do you think I need a sum range here? No, because in range I've already considered the range which can be summed. So in this scenario, I will close the bracket and I do not need a sum range. So first important takeaway from this formula, when items in a function or a formula are given in square brackets, they are optional entity. Very, very important. That means there could be certain scenarios where you do not need to provide an input for those values, right? And the second part over here is, since in the range, we are already taking a range of numeric values which can be summed, we do not need to give the sum range again. So let me copy this and share with you in chat. And then we can do the less than 100 also together. But first try this one. Please try everyone. Okay, let us take an example, this one where the net asset value is less than 100. Begin with an equal to sign. Sumif, open bracket. Range stands for where are you searching or where is my data. Since I'm looking for net asset value less than 100, I'm going to refer to the data in the column D which has the net asset value. Comma, I am looking for instances where the net asset value is less than 100. Comma again, and now I need a sum range, that is the range which can be added. But since the range taken in the beginning is a number value, I do not need to provide the sum range and I can use this formula as it is. On the same concept, you can also sum the number of units less than 100. Please try this. Please try this example, everyone. Try this one with net asset value less than 100 and then you will try one for number of units less than 100. Sum if J8 question mark C is to C J8. Yes, that was for the number of units. Correct. Okay. Now let us come to the average if formula. In the average if formula, there is a new syntax which is called average range. So which is the range you would like which is the range you would like to perform an average on, which is the range that you would like to perform an average on. So here we are going to do an average if for funds bazaar, then for retrieval and SIP, and finally for net asset value. So the formula begins with an equal to sign, average if open bracket is equal to average if open bracket. Range stands for, the range here stands for where is the data. So the data for funds bazaar is in the online column, comma. What am I searching for? I'm searching for funds bazaar, comma. Now you will see average range is highlighted. That means you now need to provide the range or the column where you are going to perform your average. Now, since average is a mathematical operation, you will need a numeric value column as a reference. At the moment in this data, there are two values of numeric values. So there are two columns, so units or net asset value. At the moment, I'm going to do an average of the net asset value if it is funds bazaar. And this is my answer. Please try this, everyone. Please try this, everyone. Okay, super. Let us go to the SIP and let us try it. Retrieval, you will try on your own. I'll show you all SIP is equal to average if open bracket. Range stands for where are you searching? Range stands for where are you searching? SIP is in column A. So my reference for range will be column A is to A. Comma. Now have you noticed that we are taking entire column A? The reference A is to A means it takes full column A's data. If new entries are added, it will still be considering the items from that column. And that is why taking AS to A as a reference can be considered as a good practice. Also, AS to A does not change the reference. So it's like a locked range. So when you drag it in a formula or a function, your answer will not move up or down based on the reference cell. So AS to A takes the whole column. It considers in an underlying way the dollar sign, so the reference doesn't change. Also, if new rows of data are added, A is to A accommodates them as well. Now here, after taking the reference of the range, we are going to now look for SIP, comma, and then refer to the net asset value column in order to average the values of the net asset value in case of instances where the transaction type is SIP. So this is my answer. Please try. Complete for retrieval. Then we'll do an example of net asset value. So we finish all permutations and combinations in this category. Thank you. Okay, let's go to net asset value is equal to is equal to average if. Now here again, if you see, the average range is given in square bracket. Rule is the same whenever in any function or formulae, the item is given in square bracket, it is an optional entity. That means even if you do not provide the value for it, even if you do not provide an input for it, you can still proceed with the formulae and get an answer which is error free. So here again is equal to average if. Range stands for where are you searching. So I'm searching in the net asset value column, comma. What am I searching for? I'm looking for net asset value more than 1500. And if it fulfills this condition, I want the average value. Please try this everyone for net asset value. For less than 100, same concept. You can try that also. Completed for net asset value less than 100 also before we proceed. We'll wait for 1 more minute for everyone to complete. And then I'm going to show you how to create a drop down or how to create a list in order to make your formulas even more dynamic. How will we create a list in order to make your formulas more dynamic? Okay. Now you have noticed that whenever we've used the Sumif or the countif formulae or the averageif formulae, we always come and we click and refer to a cell. We always give an external reference. As I said earlier, you can also give a reference within the column where the item is. So for example, if redemption is here or if funds bazaar is here, you can refer. But when you're referring like this, you will need to use the dollar sign to lock it. Because if you decide to drag your formula down and copy it, as you drag your formula down, the reference of the cell you have referred to will also keep changing and moving downwards. And you will get a cross-reference error. And hence, if you're referring within the data, always lock the cell. Even if you're referring outside, you will need to lock the cell if you're going to drag the formula. So basically, dragging is equal to locking. So if you're dragging a cell which is not next to the formula as in externally, then you will have to lock that particular cell. So whenever there's dragging involved, always consider that there will be locking of cells also involved in it. Now let us go further and let us now understand how to create a drop down or a list. After that, we will create a drop down or a list here. And as we change the value from the drop down or the list, you will see updated values for countif, for Sumif, and for average. Take a blank cell in order to create a drop down. Go to data tab, and under data, you have data validation. Under data tools, you have data validation. Data validation enables you to create a drop down or a list whereby you will get a drop down and you can choose items from the list. And if you have referred to that cell in any function or formula, as you change the choice of your item from the drop down or the list, wherever you've referred to it, on all those instances, your formula will auto update itself and give you updated values as answers. So select the cell, click on data validation, allow and say list. And in source of the list, I repeat, and in source of the list, I'm going to come here and I'm going to choose transaction type column. Click again. Click on OK. Now, if you are using versions after 2019 or 2021 or Office 365 for that matter, even when there are duplicate entries in your source, it will only give you unique values in the drop. I repeat, if you're using Office 365 or more recent versions of Excel, you will only see unique values in your list. However, if you're using older versions, you may need to remove the duplicates from your column. So you will need to take your column, copy paste the column, and then remove duplicates. So just in case you do not get unique values, let me know. I'll show you the procedure of removing duplicates. Now, similarly, I can create one. I can copy this and I can paste this here. So validation rules can be copy pasted. So now when I change the values, you will see changing values for countif and for sum. Can you see this? Now, the disadvantage of this is I can copy and paste validation rules. But suppose I take text and paste it on a cell which has a drop down. Suppose, for instance, I take a value and paste it on a cell which has rules of validation. The rules of validation will get erased. The cell will then become an open cell and accept any kind of data. So basically, data validation works very well as long as you're only selecting for the list or writing items which are already there in the list. But suppose you decide to copy paste data in a cell which has rules of validation or in a cell which has data validation, you will lose the rules of validation. Please try this, everyone. Data validation to create a drop down or a list. Please try. Yes, I will show you again. So take an empty cell or a blank cell, then go to the data tab. Okay. Go to data tools, go to data validation. Allow and say list. And in source of the list, take these items, control shift down. Click again here and say OK. And here you can see the drop down. Now, if you have latest versions, you will see unique values. Did you all get unique values? Duplicate entries? Has everyone completed? Now what I need you all to do is go to this Funds Bazaar, create a drop down here. See that all your formulas will change. Go to this SIP, put the drop down here, it will change. You will need only to create one drop down for each of them. I repeat, you will need only one drop down for each of them, and then you can copy paste the drop down. For example, if I copy this drop down, I can paste the drop down here and then I can choose from here. So even if you create one occurrence of a drop down, it is sufficient. Please try the drop down and then try the drop down with your countif and sumif and let me know. I repeat, please try your drop down for your countif and sumif. Yeah. The NSE, physical, Fine, sir. So I have both my drop downs in place. You all also try, please. Okay. Has everyone completed this? Let us go ahead. And now the next topic which we are going to do today is called as conditional formatting. Conditional formatting, as the name suggests, is formatting your data based on a condition or a criteria. Okay. So basically, if the condition is met, the coloring will come. If the condition is not met, the coloring will not come. So basically, in case of conditional formatting, your data gets formatted based on a criteria or a condition. If the criteria is met or if the condition is met, then your coloring will come on the cell or formatting will come like highlighting or a border or probably a bold or an italic on the font. And if it is not met, nothing will come. The rules of conditional formatting are running on your cells all the time. The rules of conditional formatting are running on your cells all the time. If these rules of conditional formatting, I repeat, if these rules for conditional formatting are running on the cells all the time, since these rules are running all the time, if you make any changes to your data, so obviously the value in your cell will change. Either the color will then be removed or the color will then be added on your cells. So conditional formatting is something which is continuously running on your cells, and any modification to the data, the rules auto update themselves in terms of formatting and coloring. So let us try something very, very simple. I'm going to say wherever it is old, city type old, I would like to color it in gray color. So I would like a cell color in gray color. For that, in conditional formatting, it is one of the options where we do not take the labels. Conditional formatting is one of the columns where we do not take the labels. That is because if some text characters are there in it which fulfill the condition, it will format your labels as well. I repeat, the reason we do not take the labels because if the color that you have applied and the text is similar with the label, it will end up formatting your label as well, considering your label as text. So we don't take the labels. So just below the label, Control Shift and down. Control Shift and down selects the text or the matter till the very end. Control Shift and down arrow. And if it is sideways, it is Control Shift and side arrow. Then under the Home tab, under Styles, you have Conditional Format. We will go to Highlight Cell Rules and we will say equal to, and I will write old. By default, I will get this red fill. These are the default colors which I'm getting, or presets as we call it. But I wanted a gray color. So I will go to Custom Format and Fill, and I will choose gray color for me. Click on OK and say OK again. And here you will see the formatting up. Now suppose this T30 changes to old. Press enter, the color will become gray. If this changes to T30 or T60, the color will be removed. This shows that the rules of conditional formatting are constantly running on your cells, and any modification to the value in the cell, the rules will apply themselves again. Please try this, everyone. Under conditional formatting, highlight cell rules equal to. The reason I have taken equal to is when you're exactly looking for something, always choose equal to. Because if I choose contains, if it is a part of a substring of a main string, it will even highlight that. So for example, if I only want to highlight SIP and I say contains SIP, if there is SIP in STPIN, it will highlight that also. And it will also highlight ESIP because SIP is a subdivision of it. Are you all understanding what I'm trying to say? So when there are subdivisions of the text, when we choose contains, it even highlights the subdivisions when our requirement is very, very specific in nature. So when we are exactly looking for a particular string, always go for equal. Please try this, everyone. Please try this, everyone, and let me know. Okay, let us try another example. And this time I'm going to look for only ESIP. So select the column with ESIP in it, removing the label. So we are not going to select the label. Below the label, Control Shift and down. Go to conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, and here I'm going to write equal to ESIP. By default, you'll get these colors. If you're okay with these ready-made presets, you can go ahead with them. Otherwise, you can go into custom format and choose. So for example, here, if I want the font to be bold and italic, I can go for this and say okay. So here, it will only make the font bold and italic. Wherever it is, ESI. Please try this, everyone. Please try this and let me know if anyone has any questions or queries. Also, you can let me know. Okay. Now, the next one which we're going to do is, I am going to highlight the number of units which are negative in nature. So basically, which are less than 0. So in the units column, just below the label, I'm going to select the data. And here, I'm going to say conditional formatting, highlight cells less than, and I will write 0 over. And whichever are less than 0, I want them to be highlighted with red color. So I'll go to conditional formatting, go to fill and choose red color. Click on OK and scroll to the top, and you will see wherever there are negative values, they have got highlighted in red color. So like this, you can do less than, you can also do greater than, and even between works. So between a particular range also you can choose conditional formatting and highlight the cells based on that. Please try, everyone. Let me know when you all are done, then we can proceed. Okay, great. Let us go ahead and now let us look at the net asset value column. And in the net asset value column, I'm going to use the top bottom rules in order to highlight the top 10 net asset values. So for that, select the data, go to conditional formatting, top bottom rules, top 10 items. So I can do top 10, I can even do top 5. Click on OK, and the top 5 items will be highlighted. Now, if the value of the top 5 changes and new top 5 values are added, it will highlight those values. Please try top bottom rules. Let us go and let us understand how to remove these rules of conditional format. Let us go now and let us see how to remove these rules of conditional formatting. In order to remove these rules of conditional formatting, click on conditional formatting, click on clear rule. Now under clear rule, there are two ways. One is you have selected a range. So for example, if I have selected this units column, if I have selected this column and I go to conditional formatting and I say clear rules from selected cells will only clear the rules of conditional formatting from this particular column. Clear rules from selected cells will only clear the rules of conditional formatting from these cells. But if I would like to remove all the rules of conditional formatting from this entire sheet, this particular sheet called insurance data, I can go to conditional formatting, And I can go to clear rules and I can say from entire sheet. This will clear all instances or all occurrences of the conditional formatting rules and give me a clean sheet without any rules of conditional formatting. I repeat, clear rules from selected cells will only clear the rules from that range which is selected, but from entire sheet will clear all rules from this particular sheet. Please try clearing the rules before we go ahead with other examples. Okay, now let us highlight the net asset value between 2000 and 3500. So I'm going to select this net asset value column and go to conditional formatting. Highlight cell rules between. What does between do? You can specify a top value. That means they should be greater than that. And you will specify another value. That means it should be less than that. So between those two values, it will highlight the cells. So greater than 2000, but less than 3500. So what will it do? It will highlight them with red fill, or you can choose the yellow fill. So what will happen wherever this criteria is met, it will color those cells or rather fill those cells with formatting. Please try between. Okay, let us proceed. And now I'm going to explain to you data bars. In order to use data bars, you need to have a column which is clear of any kind of conditional formatting. That means there should be no conditional formatting on those particular cells. Control Shift and down, go to conditional formatting and click on data bars. Here in data bars, there are two types of fill. One is a gradient fill and one is a solid fill. Gradient fill is a combination of two colors. So there is white along with another color which gives you the gradient color. While in solid fill, it's only a single color. What does data bars do? Depending upon the value in the cell, data bar will fill the cell with a color. I repeat, depending upon the value in the cell, the data bar will fill the cell with color. If the value is higher, there will be more fill color in it. If the number is smaller, there will be less color filled in it. If the number is negative, the fill color will be in the opposite direction and a different color fill. I repeat, if the number is negative, the fill color will be in the opposite direction and in a different color with a small demarcation or a bifurcation line between both parts. Now, the important point to understand here is Excel knows the data which you have selected in the column. So, Excel is aware of the lowest value in your data. Excel is also aware of the highest value in your data. And between both these values, it has decided the length or the quantity of color for the data bars. So click on blue, scroll to the top, and here you can see. Now the problem here in this cell is there are negative values as well. So you will see that there is very less fill. Also, there is a vast difference in the values. So you are not able to get a proper answer. Let me clear the conditional formatting from this column and apply it on this column. So see, the number values which are higher will have more fill. Numbers which are smaller will have less fill. And suppose the number is negative, you will see a color in the opposite direction with a bifurcation line between the two. Please try data bars. Try it on net asset value. On units, you're not getting a proper idea. Please try this, everyone. If you all have any questions or queries, let me know. Let me know if you all have any questions or queries. Anyone wants any part of condition formatting to be repeated, let me know. In conditional formatting, we also have another part which is called as icon sets and color scales. First, let me clear all the rules. Now, in icon sets, what happens is they give you icons based on certain values in your data. So the high values get one type of icon, the lower values get another part, and the middle values get another icon set. So here I'm going to select this column, number of units, click on conditional formatting and click on icon sets. Now, based on the values, you will see the icon sets. Now here you can see everyone has got an icon set pointing downwards. In such a scenario, we go to manage rules and we edit the rule. We edit the rule. Now, if you see the rule, it is based on percentage. I will change it to number and I will change this to number. So, if it is greater than this number, so here I am going to say if it is greater than 200, greater than or equal to 200, then green. This is 100 for middle values and less than 100 but between 0 and 100 is downward arrow. Click on apply and click on OK. And now you will see the values I have determined. So when your conditional formatting with your icon sets does not look up to the mark, you can always go under manage rules, click on the rule, go into edit rule and edit from here. By default, it will always be percentage. But if you want, you can convert it to number. If you want, you can convert it to number. If you would like to only show icons, you can click on show only icon and say OK, apply and OK. And it will take away the number values from here and only show the icons. This is very, very important because later on when you are representing your data, it's a very nice way of representing. Please try this. Only icons, under manage rules, edit rule, enable show only icon. This is the same for all types of icons which are available. The rules are the same for all type of icons that are available. Have you all tried this, everyone? Does anyone have any queries? Would anyone like to share their screen? Would anyone like to share their screen? Would anyone like to share their screen? I'm going to clear all the rules of conditional formatting from this entire sheet. Now, if you have noticed that when we have been applying conditional formatting, we are formatting single columns. I repeat, we are formatting individual columns. But suppose we would like our whole row to get formatted if the criteria or what we are searching for is fulfilled. And we would like the entire row to get formatted. In that case, we have to select the whole data And under conditional formatting, we have to say new rule. And from new rule, we will use this option which says use formulae to determine which cells to format. And here, similar to the if condition, we will be writing formulas. These formulas are without the if. So I will write is equal to select this cell. Okay. So if you see, this cell gets selected with a dollar sign. So the reference of this cell is $B, $2. I don't mind considering B column because all the city types are in B column, but I would like my rows to change. If I want my rows to change, I will have to remove the dollar sign from 2. So $B is fine, but it should be 2. So it should be $B 2 is equal to, and since this is text, I will write T30 in inverted commas. So what am I doing? I am looking for occurrences or instances within column B where they are equal to T30. But since I have selected the whole data, my whole row will get highlighted since I'm using a formula to determine the conditional format. This is the most important step. The second most important step is applying a formatting. Because as of now, no format set. That means as of now, no formatting has been applied. I can go into format and I can choose a color to format. Click on OK again. And immediately you will see that bands of color wherever my city type is T30 have been colored. I will go into conditional formatting, manage rules, and I can see my rule here. I need to click on either selected cells or this worksheet. This worksheet will show me all my rules of this sheet. I'm keeping this open for you all to try it. Please try this, everyone. Please try this, everyone. Please try this, everyone. Let me know if you want it to be repeated. We'll try other examples also for greater than or less than. Let us go ahead and let me clear these rules before I apply the next set of rules. Now, in this particular rule, I'm going to highlight the number of units which are less than 0. That means the number of units which are negative in nature. Select the whole data, conditional formatting, new rule, use formulae to determine which cells to format. Begin writing the rule with an equal to sign, the formulae. Go to the top, select the first cell of the number of units. By default, the selection says $C $2. This shows that it has locked that particular cell. It has fixed that particular cell. We will remove the dollar sign from the row so that my column C with number of units remains fixed, but my row entries keep changing. $C2 is less than 0. Why am I looking for less than 0? Because I want to highlight the rows where the values are negative in nature. So same, we were writing it over there. Same thing as a rule. I'm converting it into a rule format. Here, the whole band or the whole strip of the data will get highlighted. Go to format. Select a color. Say red. If you want the font color to be white, you can go and do that. And here you will see red fill and a white font. See the preview of your formatting? Click on OK. And wherever they are negative, you will see the font becomes white and the strip becomes red. Please try this, everyone. Please try this, everyone. Please try this. You all have all taken your tea break, I guess. There's nobody saying yes, no, doubt. Are you all there or are you all left? Abhishek sir, Ganesh sir, Divya. Are you all there in the meeting? Write a yes, please, in chat. Thank you. I thought you all took your tea break and ran away. It was information overload, I presume. Sorry, my bad. Okay. If you all are done with this, can I do in the next example? In the next example, I'm going to consider net asset values which are more than 2000. So basically, if the net asset value is more than 2000, I want the whole row to be highlighted in yellow. So select the data, go to conditional formatting, again go to new rule, use formulae to determine, and here we will write the formula. Again begin with an equal to sign, scroll to the top, select the first cell of the net asset value. By default, you'll get an absolute reference, which is $D $2. Remove the dollar sign from the 2 and make it $D2 and say greater than 2000. Now, if it is greater than 2000, I want it to get highlighted. So now you will set your format. So go to format, choose your fill color yellow, say OK and say OK again. Wherever the net asset value is more than 2000, you will see the whole band getting colored in yellow color. Please try this example, everyone. Please try this, everyone. This is conditional formatting using a criteria or a condition where you're typing in the formula. Let us apply one more where we want to highlight all of them which are SIP. We want to highlight SIP full row. So select the data, go to conditional formatting. New rule, use formulae to determine which cells to format. Begin with an equal to sign and select the first cell in the transaction type column. By default, you will get $A, $2. Remove the dollar sign and say $A2 is equal to, and since SIP is text, you will have to write it in inverted commas. Click on format, choose a coloring for the formatting and say OK. And you will see wherever it is SIP, you will get the color. Please try this example. Please try this example, everyone. Let me know if you want any part of conditional formatting to be repeated. Okay, super. Thanks for the notification. Let us go through what we have done in today's session. Today's session was session 2. Okay, we have begun with if condition. We did countif, averageif, and Sumif. We also created a drop down using data validation. And we did conditional formatting with formulae and for single column. So we have done conditional formatting. We have done data validation, creating a drop down or a list. And we've done the countif, averageif, Sumif function, as well as the if condition. Today's video has also been recorded. I will save the recording to the same playlist and send you the link to the playlist so that you have access to session 1 and 2. I'm now open for questions. If you all have any questions or queries on what we have covered today or in yesterday's session, please let me know. I request you all to practice whenever you get a chance on your own data so you can come back to me with questions and queries. Our next session will be on Thursday next week and on Friday, same time 2:30 to 4:30. So please make sure you all connect and keep the data handy because the sessions are going to be interactive and engaging in nature. If anyone has any questions or queries, you all can ask me now. Yes, absolutely. You'll be getting today's recording and yesterday's. Yesterday's I uploaded. Actually, if I stop sharing, I can give you the link now only of yesterday's recording. Here, I'm giving you the link to the playlist only. All the videos will get added to the playlist. Here, this is the playlist link. Yesterday's video is already there. Okay, the future videos will also be added to this playlist only, but I will send an email with this link, and when you click on the link, you will have access to all the videos. For sure, and I will also send the study material. So I will also send notes and shortcuts, etc., so that you all have them handy. So we have a very nice pivot table clue sheet where you can use it to quickly create pivots. So when you do the session, I will share that. It'll be very handy for all of you all. So thank you so much everyone for